You still love her. That is not the problem. The problem is that loving her has started to cost you something you cannot afford to keep paying. Your attention, your direction, the version of yourself you were before she became the center of everything. And somewhere between holding on and letting go, you have lost the thread of who you actually are. This is for the man who is not trying to stop caring, who understands that the feelings are real and does not want to pretend otherwise, but who is ready to understand what letting go actually looks like for a man who intends to keep his dignity through the process. Because letting go is not the same as giving up, and it is not the same as going cold. It is something more precise than either of those things. The first thing a grown man does is stop making her the explanation for everything. When a relationship ends or becomes uncertain, there is a pull to organize the pain around her. What she did, what she did not do, what she said, and what she left unsaid. That organizing feels like clarity. It is not. It is a way of keeping her at the center of your interior life under a different name. The man who is genuinely letting go starts to ask a different set of questions. Not what did she do wrong, but what did this experience ask of me that I could not yet provide? Not why did she leave, but where was I absent from my own life in ways that made this more painful than it needed to be? Those questions do not excuse what happened. They return your attention to the only place where anything useful can be built, yourself. The second thing is allowing the grief without feeding it. Grief is not the enemy of letting go. It is part of the process. A man who loved genuinely will feel the loss genuinely. And there is nothing to fix about that. The feeling is accurate. She mattered. The relationship mattered. The grief is the appropriate response to something real ending. What extends grief past its natural duration is not the feeling itself. It is the behavior that surrounds it, the repeated checking of her social media, the replaying of the good memories as a way of staying connected to something that is no longer available. The conversations you have with her in your head that never resolve because she is not there to have them. A grown man feels the grief and does not build a life around it. He lets the feeling move through without constructing a residence for it. That is the difference between honoring what was real and using the pain as a reason to stay emotionally frozen. There is a video on this channel that goes into this in depth. I will link it at the end. The third thing is returning to the commitments that existed before she did. One of the most reliable signs that a relationship has taken more than it should is the disappearance of the things that defined you before it started. The work you were building, the friendships you maintained, the physical discipline, the interests that were yours before she became part of the picture. Getting those things back is not about distraction, it is about restoration. You are not filling the time. You are reclaiming the shape of a life that was already real before she entered it. And that life, returned to and rebuilt consistently, does not just ease the pain of letting go. It reminds you of who you actually are when you are not organizing yourself around another person. The man who lets go well does not do it in a single moment. He does it in hundreds of small decisions to return to himself rather than return to her in his mind. Every morning he gets up and does the thing he committed to. Every evening he does not reach for the phone to check on her absence. Every week he invests in the version of his life that does not require her presence to have meaning. The fourth thing, and the one that separates the man who lets go cleanly from the one who carries it for years, is releasing the need for a different ending. Most men who struggle to let go are not struggling with the present. They are struggling with the past, specifically with the version of events where things went differently, where she chose differently, where he said something else at the moment that mattered. That alternate past is the thing that keeps the door open in his mind even when it is closed in reality. Releasing that does not mean pretending the ending was right or that the pain was deserved. It means accepting that the ending that happened is the one he has to build from, not the one he wanted, the one he has. That acceptance is not resignation. It is the foundation of everything that comes next. Because a man cannot build forward from a position he refuses to stand in. And the moment he accepts where he actually is, the direction forward becomes visible in a way it was not before. You still love her. That is real and it is honorable. And you are letting go. Those two things can be true at the same time. The man who understands that does not have to choose between his feelings and his future. He carries both, and he keeps moving. If this resonated, this video is the natural next step. It covers what she actually feels in the silence after you stop reaching, and why the version of you that lets go is the version she finds herself thinking about. It is on screen now. I will see you there.